Okay.
Two. Yeah, as I was saying, I was rehearsing now that I have a clear script of the first video, and also rehearsing without the headset allows you to listen to yourself. Um, yeah, so I like it.
Oh, I guess for you, yeah, you usually do have the headphones on, so it's a little different.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, okay, all right.
How was your day today? I hear a bird. So you had you had to
uh,
come back from New York.
I had to come back from New
Rush.
York for some roommate stuff, and then also today is the grand opening of a winery that I have as a client, and and they're doing 3 grand openings: one for family, one for friends, and one for the public, right? Different
Right.
stages. So this is the very first one for family, and
Man, you
so
should give
I'm
me. Do they ship by any chance?
uh, I should write that down. I should know that answer. um, I know that I know people do ship, but I know that like shipping alcohol is always complicated. Um, but I mean, this place is amazing. So the grand opening is happening all day today, and I've been here I'm building a website and taking some photography and all that kind of stuff. And so, but and of course, everybody's like, there's all this wine and there's this beer. But I didn't have anything. They said I'm not going on a live Zoom with a single drop of
Do you
alcohol.
drink a lot of wine? Are you like a
I'm
wine connoisseur?
actually no, I'm a beer
Connoisseur?
drinker, but because
Yeah.
it is interesting in terms of like what you and I are always talking about with people that and of people following their passions and doing what they really love. This is someone who they did automotive stuff, like was fixing and building race cars, um, and had been making wine for 40 years just for his friends and family, just like as just something he loved to do, like the way some people paint, portraits, and some people do this. He was making wine, and only now, after 40 years, has decided he retired from his other job, and he's going to just do this and make it a business and do what he really loves. So it's really, really exciting to see that whole.
Do you have a website?
I'm building the website.
Right. Is it online? Is there a version online?
There's not a version of it yet. Their website, I believe, will be up by Wednesday. So by the time we have our next session, the website.
Okay, I'll check it out.
But it reminds me a lot of like the conversations you and I have in terms of like, let's just get the basics and then we can add other things. But this place has 64 chickens, 5 goats, 2 big birds. I don't know what they are, but only one of them makes noise.
I love that.
And there's a bunch of cats. There's a greenhouse. There's yeah.
Where are they based?
It's here in Quakertown, actually.
Quaker Time?
In Quakertown, where I
So
live.
it's in your HQ.
Yeah, but this will be the first winery for Quakertown, so it's kind of a big deal. Yeah. But
I'm gonna come and visit.
yeah, and let me tell you something. Like this is, to me, like this is something that I would love for people to come and see. Like you have to come and experience, see what this is, and they have all these games that people can come out and play, like the giant Jenga, Connect Four, and dominoes. They have big giant domino things. And I was like, oh, this is for the grand opening. He said, no, this is for when people come just to drink the wine. If they come with their kids, the kids can be busy playing the wine and stuff. The only trick for this for me is that I can't drive sober. So for me to drive up to this
you live nearby, don't you?
I do, but it
oh,
they're not off of the highway kind of thing. They're in the back roads. So it's everybody else is fine. I'm the only one.
Yeah, in America, you cannot walk. You have to drive everywhere. There is a lake that's completely frozen, isn't there, in Quakertown? I see a picture with a lake.
Well, there's one that does get frozen in winter.
Right.
Okay, that I think is Nakamixon, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks like Nakamixon. And then
there's some flood.
the flash floods, which I never knew until I moved to Quakertown, that like it rains a lot and then all of a sudden the street is completely it can be tough. But the Lake Nakamixon, what's amazing about that is that when people go, and I was showing a friend of mine, like, oh, this is like so forth. Lake Nakamixon, there was never water there before. There was a town that they evacuated and then filled it up with water because they felt that land would look prettier as a lake instead of a valley with a town in it. So if people were to go scuba diving, you would see homes and buildings and all that stuff that was left there from when it was a town, that they filled it up with water. It's crazy. Like how they were able to even do that legally, I don't even understand. But in the bottom of this lake is a town.
Here?
No. Let's see. Like Wine River Bar, Quakertown. If you type, you're typing wine.
Is it Black River Wine Bar or is it? No, it's not.
No, that's second not in Quakertown. But if you type where you have winery, type Nakamixon, which is Nock. There you go, Nakamixon State Park. Yeah, in that lake is a town. And I thought people were making it up, but then somebody showed me they had a book, and in the book you see the underwater shots of like the buildings and all that other stuff that used to be.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, it's great for running, for hiking, bike riding. This
amazing.
It is really, really nice. It looks more like a river than a lake, but yeah. So Quakertown does have they do have some stuff. They're
What's the name of the winery?
Vino by Zeno.
Okay.
But if you Google it, nothing's gonna show. I mean, you might see something on the Facebook page, but all of that is being built. Okay. And Zeno is with 2 Z's.
Vino by Zeno. Oh, they're like
because you like wine. You're French. So
I'm not a huge connoisseur, but
what would you prefer?
Actually, I see vinobyzeno.com. Is that the
okay? Vinobyzeno.com is the same thing as FrenchConversationsOnline.com. That is what they had before me. So that is not a reflection of my work at all.
Okay,
it is not the same thing. This weekend, when I finish the website, when I finish this week, they're going to take that domain name and put it on mine. So it is very similar to what you and I.
Yeah, but they do have they do grow the
they do not. They don't grow the grapes.
The grapes, yeah.
That right there is something that I wouldn't be showing, but this was done in 2015, I think, this website.
Okay.
But then he just never kind of got it going and so forth. And finally now they said, okay, I think through COVID, for a lot of people, that was a big wake up call. Like, what do you really want to do? Everybody has so much time to think about what they like and what they don't like. So it was a really good breakthrough.
And what's their objective? Like, so they're just opening the store. They already had the store, and he
kind of had something that was just kind of fun for him. Just like some people might have, like, let's say if I'm a painter, then I might have the studio where I do my paintings, and people come in. I might have a little table or something for people to chat and sit. They kind of have it like that, like a hobby shop. But now they're ready to go. They have all the stuff that they need. They just, like anybody starting up a business, they don't have time to do social media. And then
exactly. Yeah.
And for me, part of my job isn't to show someone how to carve out all this time to do social media. My job is to show you how you can do social media, just little bits and pieces here and there. And what I did for the video for you for this week, I actually had to push myself because I said, I know how I do video for me. And that is where I set up my little tripod thing, and I set it up on my desk. I put my camera, and I do at least 15 video takes. And then I know. And I pick the best one, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
it's quick, right? To do these takes.
It can be, but some of the stuff that I was doing for my video stuff, it was like some videos were longer than others and all that, but I liked that it was in my room and it was my comfort zone. Nobody was watching me and all that.
Yeah.
But that is not the way I wanted this. That's not the way I thought you would be doing video. Like, I didn't think that was really the most effective way, in the sense of like, what is the way that Rapha would do video for social media that would be the most convenient for him? That's the thing. It's like I just want to know, like, what would be the thing that would really work for you that you would actually do it, right? So I remembered that you had a video back when my sister was trying to show me who you were, and she's like, well, here, look at this thing, whatever. And she showed me a video of you. I swear you were jogging and talking at the same time, because you had like influence, whatever, so forth. And I was like, this guy will do video absolutely anywhere. Like, he didn't have to think twice about it. But it's funny, but back then you were talking to someone, like I guess you were talking to the people of the French community kind of thing. Yes. Like, hey, we have this and that, so forth. So I think it was very easy for you. You weren't sitting at a desk, looking at a screen, thinking about all that stuff. You were just like, you're having a conversation. Like, you look like you were FaceTiming people, like, oh, blah, blah, this and that, so forth, whatever. And outside, which for me to do video outside, I was like, no, that's not my thing. But I remembered you did that. So I pushed myself to do a video outside with people around. Like, I posted something when I was in New York, my first day there, when I was in Central Park, and everybody was too far away to even hear me. So, and I pretended that I was talking to somebody on my phone. I didn't want people to know that I was recording something, because then I would get like self-conscious. But for your video, it was there were people very close by. They all knew that I was not talking to someone, because they saw me going back and forth and practicing. But I think this is how it worked for Rapha. So I have those two. I have the video to show you what I did, and then a video to show you how I cleaned it up. But I don't know if you wanted to show me your stuff first. I can show you mine. I did video that would work as an ad for the My French Community Party. So I knew that my video had to be under a minute in order for it to go on Instagram. And I'm happy to
look at your video. Actually, I didn't redo the first video. I'm planning to do it today. I was rehearsing because I didn't do that before.
Well, I'll tell you the deal that I made with myself, because I was like, this is the advice that I give people, and if I can't take my own advice, then I have to stop giving this. That telling people. And I was like, just go ahead and do it. It's better that it not be perfect, but at least it's done, and you move on to the next thing, and people can get stuck with trying to make it look exactly right. And so what I told myself was that I can rehearse as much as I want, but I will only have 3 takes of this video.
So actually, there's the rehearsing, but there's a step in my case that precedes the rehearsing, and that's the writing part. Most of the time, like for example, the video I shared, the first 2 videos I did on give up on inauthenticity in French and in English, the script wasn't clear. So I was trying to make it clear while I was working on it, and I was using video to do so, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work out. The video is not clear. You can improve the video by doing the cuts, adding the slides, but it ends up to be much better, a much better quality if I lay it down a script, and I'm very clear what I want to say. Then the rehearsing, and then after the rehearsing allows me also to work on the wording of what I want to say. I know the logic now is more or less clear, so I create clarity on paper, and then the rehearsing allows me to see, how to best phrase it, and then so you rework a little bit the script, and then just being comfortable with the points you don't need to know by heart, but
you don't need to know each word, but the part to remember are like those bullet points. Like when I was doing mine, I was like, I had to remember what is the party and what the party is like, as far as like, oh, there's games and there's like all the interaction. When is the party, and how to get in touch with the person, like I had to remember those bullet points.
Yes.
And if for each time that I did it, the wording was a little bit different, but as long as the message gets across. So I had to, and one of the takes, and I think it ended up being the one that was the best one, was the one that I actually started the recording by me saying, oh my God, Shambi, let me just tell you, because I had to get in the mindset that I was talking to my sister, just so I wanted it to sound conversational. I didn't want it to sound like somebody who's on the news talking like blah, 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 and then blah, 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 whatever, I wanted it to feel like, hey, this person just sent me a message directly. And it's
but
really hard.
At the same time, I agree with you. At the same time, you have like a few blocks of what needs to be said and how to say it in the best way with the best phrasing. And you can pull that out because you know it. So on my end, I'm not finished. So it's kind of like a semi-failure, but I haven't said my last word. So I'll probably send you something, very soon.
All right. Well, I'll show you my video now. The two of them, and you'll see the first one, and then then we can have a little discussion, and I'll show you what the second one is like. But...
And also, by rehearsing, I'm just sharing the method, and again,
what you're rehearsing for your video is more it's more involved, because mine was obviously it's just talking about the party, and it's under a minute, but your thing is a bit more. So even when you're talking about the authenticity and when I did this video that I'm going to show you now, I did a lot of rehearsing, like just no camera or anything, just practicing, like talking about it, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And I said, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk from here to here, and I'm just going to just say what I have on camera. And then I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to say what I have to say on camera. No stopping and starting over. I just have to say it, and I'm just going to do it 3 times. And whatever is the best of those 3, that's what I'm going to have to go with for Instagram. And that's it. That's what I told myself. I said, because it's more important to train yourself to just say, this is the block of time to do it, and then move on, because you'll spend 3 weeks for one ad, and then other stuff never got advertised properly. And that's where, and we've seen that. It's like,
I concur. Like, you need to put yourself a block of time, as you're saying, but also don't fail on purpose. If if you've tested a method that works and you're not applying the method, that's me in that case. The chances of you failing, you want to put the best chances of not failing, and at the same time, comply with the beautiful constraint that you impose yourself.
Well, that's a really good point, because it's like you apply the method that's working, and for me, I've noticed that in the past, when I did do the other videos, even in my apartment and stuff like that, the best takes were the earlier ones. And the reason for it wasn't because the earlier takes were so amazing, is that the more I was doing it over, the more in my head I got, and the worse I became. I was just like, and then I just got even more. It just kept getting. I was getting more stressed, more frustrated, and the last thing I was going to do was create a video after doing a bunch of takes and being like, "Hey, how's it going?" But no, you could see the frustration and the urgency for me to just get it all out of.
I know exactly what you're saying. Like when but that's a different method.
And that method wasn't working for me. That's why I had to change it up for me, because everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. I understand. I was doing exactly the same. That I have more or less something on paper, but it's not clear enough, and then I'm rehearsing using a video or like a recording machine, and obviously at the beginning, the first takes are the best, and as you continue doing that, if you only do that, then you get tired of it. And it gets worse and worse.
Yeah, and there was one particular part that I kept messing up on, even when I was doing my little practices about the camera, which was, and you can contact Rapha at, and then I would say Rapha, which is not the email address. The email address is my French community, at gmail.com. But I kept saying it, and for more information, just contact Rapha at, and I was like, God, I just kept messing it up. Yeah. So if I were normally for me, what would happen is the more times I would do a take, I'm only thinking about that part where I kept making the mistake instead of the overall video. And I'm just like bumbling through all this other stuff to just try to get past this one point. And it just throws it off. I said, I really want something that's organic. So I am very lucky though, that my face doesn't frown. Like if I'm like go like this, my face won't do that. It just doesn't. Even if I'm sad, it doesn't. My face, when I try to do it, I start laughing because my face just won't go down like that. So if I'm angry, I smile. If I'm confused, I smile. If I'm nervous, I smile. I always smile for all the different reasons. So on camera, that works.
Let me tell you something, Achilles. With my method, once you've rehearsed a few times, you know more or less not only the content and the logic and the flow of what needs to be said, but you get to a level of confidence that you're going to deliver. You know, you're full of confidence. Why? Because you've prepared. The method works. The method works. If it's not clear on paper, it's not going to be clear on in life. And then the live rehearsing step allows you to refine the words, but the logic is there, and the refining of the words will make you so comfortable with delivering the message when you need to, because you'll use a special word at each time that is really impactful. The logic will flow. Man, right now I'm not to that level because honestly, it's almost like I had a lot on my plate. But anyways, you also need to succeed on purpose. So allow some time for you to follow the method and do it. But in your case with the short video, it's fine, right?
There you go. Well, and
are they handing you a glass of wine?
No, they oddly enough, there's no door on this.
I just want to if they ship, I just for the supporting a new business, I just want to have the the address and everything and check them out.
Oh no, trust me, I after that crazy time for me while I was in New York, I realized next time around that I need to to go without any specific, like, oh, I have to, the book signing just it was just all a lot harder than what I would have wanted it to be, to get around the logistics, the backpack, the books, where am I staying, and moving everything from one place to the next and all that, and then having to rush back home. But I was like, the next time what I'll probably do is I'll go to Hoboken first with the wine, drop that off there and enjoy the wine, and then then do New York. And Hoboken would be a nice way for me to like look. It was very hard to be in New York this time. I was surprised that because before it was during COVID, and everybody was like, no one's on the streets. So to see like the mental illness in Manhattan, which I had seen always when I lived there, but being in Quakertown, you forget the homeless is so present, the mental illness, and the shouting and that you're not supposed to smile and wave at people on the street like you do here in Quakertown, stuff like that. But yeah, there's no door here, so that's why you were able to hear that bird. But if they're all outside again, I think they came in here to just get more.
It makes sense. In Seattle, people are very kind. They're very kind everywhere. And here in Hoboken, that's okay, but yeah.
New York is the hardest place for people to trust other people, I think.
What does the song says?
If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah, and it's Alicia Keys and
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra. Okay,
I think so. New York, New York. I think it's the song. Now he's from, or at least he lived in Hoboken.
Yes, he was, I think, born in Hoboken or something. Jungle something says it's jungle that anyway.
A concrete jungle, yes, we're only it's the survival of the fittest and so forth. So
concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
You're Alicia Keys, that song. Okay. Yes. Empire State, the Empire
State. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so here's I'm going to show you the first video, and which one is it? I guess it's this one.
I can share a rehearsal that I just did, at least.
Well, this may as well be a rehearsal. Look at me looking so happy.
So you pushed yourself. That's what you were saying in intro.
No, this was me pushing myself because, and I was like, you know what? I should have. I've been telling people for almost a year now. Oh, just do it spontaneous. Just take it. Be fine. And I myself wouldn't do that. I was always in my room, very comfortable, doing my thing. But this was really, really good for me, even to go ahead and to push myself. So here we go.
You're invited to a virtual party for people who want to practice French. Whether you're a beginner or you're already fluent, all levels are welcome. It's a 1 hour of games, of people sharing stories and talents. And it's a really great way for people to go ahead and meet each other from all across the world. So if you're interested, it's hosted by the founder of myfrenchcommunity.com, Rapha Rodriguez. For the link, or just get more information, you can go ahead and reach to him at myfrenchcommunity@gmail.com. Again, it's myfrenchcommunity@gmail.com. Hope to see you there. My name's Achilles. I go to the parties and I barely even speak any French, and I have a great time every single time. Hope to see you there.
Okay, so all right. Now, so I saw that, and the funny thing is that there's a part where before I say something about how to get in touch with you, I have to like swallow, like I guess I talked myself out of breath, which to me, it seems like such a huge mistake. But of course, that's because it was me watching me. But I think most people wouldn't care, whatever. But I remember seeing that part, and I was like, oh, I got to do this again because I'm swallowing and whatever, so forth, and self-conscious. But then I watched this clip again, and I realized that there was a part, even though I had the bullets, there was a part that I forgot, which was I never said when the party was. I never said the first Monday of the month at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I didn't put that in there. I did it in one of the other takes, but I didn't do it in the one that I liked the most. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What I'm going to do? So that part is where I had to create the second video, where all I did was I had to insert the part that that has me saying that. And it's tricky because like I don't like watching video where you see where the camera cut and they start saying something else. Some people do it and it's very seamless and it doesn't you barely even notice it and it's not a problem. And then for other times I've seen it and it's like a bigger jump and it throws you out of the moment. And it makes you feel like you're not seeing the person in just one thing. So what I did was I created some little pictures to cover the part where I kind of moved. So then I'll show you now what the second one looks like.
It's tricky to do a video, right? It's not. It's not so
You're
easy.
You're invited to a virtual party for people who want to practice French. Whether you're a beginner or you're already fluent, all levels are welcome. It's a 1 hour of games, of people sharing stories and talents. And it's a really great way for people to go ahead and meet each other from all across the world. So if you're interested, it's hosted by the founder of myfrenchcommunity.com.
Man, that's the same video as before. I didn't even show you the other one. Now you know that.
By the way, your image doesn't move. I don't know why. Oh, okay. I was on that video, yeah.
Oh, so I was on the right one and I put play for the other one. No wonder. Okay. All right, everybody, it's live video. That's how you know. Mistakes like this. All right.
I love that you're outside, but the problem is you had some people coming out and it
Oh, let me tell you something. I had people walking before they were walking like behind my camera, like walking towards me, and they didn't want to be in the shot. The people who were coming up from behind me, and my bag was actually on the ground. And as I was talking to the camera walking away, I was so worried that someone was going to come and snatch my bag. There was all these like crazy things that were going on.
The light is great, but it creates noise. The fact that you have people like visual noise, they have people coming out of the building.
Yeah, and that's where I was like, oh, if I just do it against the brick wall, then it's going to look like I'm in a prison yard, which
You're invited to a virtual party for people who want to practice French. Whether you're a beginner or you're already fluent, all levels are welcome. It's a 1 hour of games, of people sharing stories and talents. And it's a really great way for people to go ahead and meet each other from all across the world. So it's the first Monday of every month at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're interested, it's hosted by the founder of myfrenchcommunity.com, Rapha Rodriguez. For the link, or just get more information, you can go ahead and reach to him at myfrenchcommunity@gmail.com. Again, it's myfrenchcommunity@gmail.com. Hope to see you there. My name's Achilles. I go to the parties, and I barely even speak any French, and I have a great time every single time. Hope to see you there.
Yeah.
So then, and then it's true, because then I watched this and I'm like, God, I could have done this different. I could have moved that. I could have done this other thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, and like you said, the background noise, all those people walking and stuff like that.
Right.
And what I had to keep telling myself with each of those things, because I felt like there was noise. At one point, a plane went over me in one of the third take, and I was like, okay. I said,
Exactly.
to not let myself have being all those reasons for me to start over, I said, what I need to just know is that the next time I do a video ad, I will pick one that's not going to have the people popping up from behind me like that, right? And I will make sure that that I say all the pieces that I need to say. There's certain mistakes that you just have to correct for the next time you do it. It doesn't have to be correct them all for that one right then and there. Because I really was like, I want to see what's the best I can do in this time frame. Practicing it all up until that point was one thing. Getting to that spot outside, I was like just rehearsing, going over again and again and again. That's why I was so shocked that I forgot to mention about it. It's the first time of the month, and the first Monday of the month at 1 p.m. So
I think it's a great exercise. I think that you start in pretty strong with like positivity, and there's a party, so it's a good thing. It shows, and then there's like a little the next idea is there are games, we showcase talent, basically we meet each other. That part, it's almost like there's this the problem is that we start doubting ourselves. We start doubting ourselves that what am I doing? I forgot what I had to say. And we don't come up as impactful because of that. That's the problem. That's why I'm telling you, rehearse. It's almost like while you rehearse, it's almost like you're searching for what you believe the most in what you're saying, so that when you found it, it clicks, and then it's just you remember a few words and you rehearse until a point where you're comfortable. You don't need anything. You can just, now that you've got it, and I know it takes clarity, and
it takes time. It takes and it does require a lot of the preparation, especially when, in some ways, doing a video under 60 seconds is tougher than one that gives you more freedom to not have to worry about like, am I saying I can't go too long with this or too long with that? And you want to try to cram in so much information, but sometimes the longer ones becomes tough, because then it's like it's easier to lose your train of thought because you're going a little bit deeper into some of these different topics. And,
if we talk about the short under 60 minute, you got to be to the point. That's why, if it's not clear, and that's why I understand your this tendency of getting bored of it and just throwing the towel, like, okay, this is boring.
and for me, that some people get bored, some people get very frustrated, some people they find it to be stressful, some people find it to be defeating. But there's a woman, Katie Lance, who's a social media guru, some big time person, and that's all she does is help people with social media. And she says that she has a quote that she got from somebody else, but she has it above her desk, which is that done is better than perfect. And she said that she used to be the type of person that spent so much time trying to make it perfect that by the time it was ready, it was pretty much too late to use it. It was because too much time had passed. And And I was like, well, there's certainly some truth to that. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, throw something together that's sloppy and just see what sticks. But that's where I know for me, it's the best I'll get out of me is by knowing that I'm not going to allow myself all this extra time to fix and tweak and whatever.
Right, I agree with all of that.
But that whole outside thing,
yeah, I love the image. I love your energy. I love
that noise, the noise, background noise. I said that was something I didn't quite expect, but I didn't expect to.
That wall is great behind you too.
The wall in the beginning, the wall was all that was behind me, and it really looked like I was in prison because it was just like
okay, I
saw wall everywhere, and I was like, okay, well, that's not really. And at first I thought, oh, I should take a selfie, and I was like, it really does look like I'm in jail. So, but it was a nice contrast having the brick on one side and all this.
Exactly, that's great.
But I was like, being outside, I was like, you know what? It definitely makes it feel a lot more organic. It makes it feel more energetic.
Yeah.
But I just have to pick my locations now a little bit better. And it was nice doing something that was short and quick and like and doing.
And also you're moving. That's nice. And you're The
moving was I would take a step for every bullet point. That's how I was helping making sure.
Oh, that's
because
cool.
At first I was walking so fast that I almost hit the other side of the wall and I had nowhere to go. And just standing there, I thought was a little too slow. So I said, I'll take a step and I'll say, oh, that I'm going to invite you to a virtual party that happens for people who just want to speak French. That's one step. And it's just a 1 hour thing where people are having fun, blah, 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 whatever's the word. That's one step. And then it's the first Monday. That was a different step. And so it just kind of helped me with my pacing, helped me relax a little bit. So I liked that. I didn't think that was going to work, but it did help for that take.
So you're comfortable with just with going with that video? I'm comfortable too.
Oh yeah. I'm comfortable. And what also helped is that I actually used this. I had the phone. This isn't a selfie stick, obviously.
Oh yeah.
But it was a little further away from me than me holding the phone like that. Yeah. It made me feel a bit better to have to just have some distance between me and the camera. Yeah. And that's why I was able to get actually the shot of the people behind me and have that work so well.
Yeah, so the party is every first Monday of the month. Next one is
July 5th.
July 5th. Everybody's welcomed.
Eastern time.
If you're learning French, if you're an instructor, if you just want to join for an hour, at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We try to make it engaging so that you are active during the party. You're not just at the back of hidden in a room with a lot of people, but you do have to show a little bit and you have to interact and get to know others. It's not streaming. So that's what, and get to know the other folks in the community, the Rubies, the Jedis, the Baby Wires, people who want to join the My French MBA starting August the 3rd. Just come by and tell about yourself, learn about others, and play a few games during an hour. That's it.
Yeah, and it is designed in a way that you are able to show up and you can, you have the introduction, you kind of get a feel for it, and depending on the number of people that are at the party, there'll be the breakout room so you can kind of interact and you get an opportunity to share. But it's all levels are welcome, and it's very, very. It is great how quickly people are able to feel comfortable there, even if when they show up for the first time. They see that it's very relaxed atmosphere. And the game that last interactive game we did was that was awesome.
Drawing game and like Pictionary kind of. It's called Scribble.com.
Scribble.com, and then that's a way to practice French because then you're writing in French what it is the person's drawing, and it's also for someone like me who doesn't speak French. A great way to learn French words. Like I now know that the word for rhinoceros in French is very similar to the one in English. So at least if I was in France, I could say, rhinoceros, and I can even write it down and they'll know what I'm talking about. I know that those two are the same. Swim is different because Najir, right? Yeah. And swim, they don't look anything or something. But although in Spanish it's nadar. So I was like, well, that.
If you don't take yourself too seriously, come by, meet others, tell about yourself, and just spend a moment with us.
Yeah, and we don't take ourselves too seriously, which is also important. Like, we're not gonna.
Let me maybe show you what I was practicing. It was, my energy was kind of low, but I feel like I owe showing myself.
Why was your energy low?
Because before that, I needed a break from Zooming.
Yeah.
I did the Rubies, the Jedis, and the Turkish lesson this morning. So 3 hours and a half this morning. So I just needed a break, and I went outside under the sun, and I practiced. I trained myself at soccer. I play European football. So my energy was kind of low. And so I'm now at the state of, so I have my script here.
Wow.
And to be authentic, it takes to be okay with people not liking you. That's the first bullet point I want to prove. Then I'm giving three examples really quickly, of personal examples. And I make it personal too, with emotions. So, and then that's my script, and I'm working on it. I'm rehearsing. I'm working on the wording still. So I did work on the logic, and the logic goes as so. If you want, we can just listen to me a few minutes.
Well, I'm looking at your expression and where you froze the video.
My energy is low, so let me just pick any point somewhere here. Let's see, and a few minutes, and then maybe 4 minutes. Let's see. I'd sent to my nephews. Her response: we didn't talk for a few days after that. I was authentic when I told my mortgage salesperson to send me his offers in the form of a PDF document rather than an email. I don't think he liked it. To be authentic, it requires to be okay with people not liking you. To be okay, afraid that others might dislike you. So that's the first point, right? The first point I'm trying to prove is to be authentic. It takes to be okay with people not liking you.
Okay, now can I just say, watching that video,
my energy is really low. So
not only you say your energy
fine.
low. Right now, me watching the video, I'm like, okay, I think you're talking about it's okay with people not liking you. But right now, it looks like you don't like the person. You don't like the people who are watching the video.
Yeah. My energy is low. I don't care. I'm just practicing. I'm trying to find the way.
You look more angry. You're angry. Your energy doesn't look low. You look like you're pissed off at somebody.
Let's see.
But then you're talking about people that you were pissed off with. So
Let's see. Panic when I told my cousins that I wasn't happy.
And this looks like your headphones are the entire thing.
Right. I'm gonna get rid of them.
No, but I'm saying your seat and the headphones look like one giant thing. That's what I was laughing at first.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like Princess Leia.
From here, let's see. It requires to be okay with people not liking. So yeah, my request. To be authentic, it requires to be okay with people not liking you.
Are you reading this, or this is just you speaking?
To be authentic.
Oh, you're looking at the bullet points.
People not liking you. So I have to rehearse the main points.
Right. So I'm saying, because the way your eyes are going, are you looking at the bullet points, or are you actually?
Right. I'm still in the process of learning it.
Okay,
like,
I couldn't tell.
This is my first rehearsal. Like I wrote the script. Now I'm rehearsing it out loud.
Okay, well, I gotta say that's pretty good because your eyes come up so much that it didn't look like you were reading.
Once I know the flow of the point, to be okay, it requires I have to be really comfortable with it. So I have to rehearse just the bullet points, like the not the example so much. Maybe I can, but to be okay, it takes to be authentic. It takes to be okay with people not liking you. Right? This has to be really has to flow. Maybe it's not the right wording. Maybe I need to change it. Who knows? But I'm in that step that, you know, I want to get to a level of high confidence when I'm going to deliver the message, when I'm going to say that sentence. Yeah.
Okay.
So to be authentic, it takes to be okay with people not liking you. I was authentic when I told my cousins that I wasn't happy that they didn't include me in the organization of my grandmother's birthday. Their response. Yeah, you see, now I'm not clear exactly.
Well, it looked like you were really thinking about what happened with your cousins. I was like, oh,
yeah.
he went back into some memory there that was dark.
Let's see if I continue somewhere here. And then so it's rehearsing and on.
So where did your chair go? That's what I'm saying. Like in 1 minute, the chair was behind you, and then now it's
that's the virtual background that just messes. Maybe that's not good. That's not very good.
Well, no, because here I like the way this looks.
When you're afraid of being disliked by others, you basically suppress your authentic you. And it's based on a logic that's flawed. What's that logic? It's the illusion that we have the choice between giving up on our authenticity and being liked by others, or choosing to be authentic and being disliked by others. That logic is completely flawed. Let me explain. It's flawed because you're trying to control something that changes all the time, and that's the opinion of others. It's flawed because you'll put yourself in a situation where you say something and the opposite. If you're trying to, if you're changing based on other people's opinion, you might say something for the purpose of being liked by someone and saying the opposite of that thing in order to be liked by someone who has an opinion that's contrary to this one. You see, here it doesn't flow, right? It doesn't flow.
Well, you say it doesn't flow, but the only thing that doesn't flow is the vibe that you have, sure. But what you're saying is great. Like
the logic is fine, but you need to rehearse until it flows, like all the points together, and then.
Well, they're flowing for me. I'm telling you, I'm listening to it, and it's like you're trying to control something that you can't control. And so it's all fine. The only reason it doesn't seem like it flows is because is because of the vibe that you have. But the words and all that stuff, and each sentence that you're making, I'm telling you that it's flowing for me. I'm listening to it, and I'm like following your logic. And I'm like, and in terms of
the method, you know, I need to deliver like the examples, and then the point I need to prove. That all of that at once needs to flow. So let's listen a little bit more. It's just a first rehearsing.
Yeah.
It's an illusion to think that you can manipulate manipulate the others into liking you, or you can manipulate an opinion about you. People typically don't debate about you more than 10 minutes if they know you, if they're your friendly. They mostly worried about themselves instead. And there isn't a vote that sentences you to some type of result about you. And last but not least, it's flawed because you value the opinion of others more than yours. But to become successful, your own opinion about yourself will make a much bigger difference than the opinion of others. So for these, it doesn't flow. And I'm just rehearsing, trying to find the words. The logic that is at play is flawed. And it's the first one. It's not about manipulating the others into liking you and giving up on your authenticity. It's really understanding that. So yeah, I'm trying to prove that the logic which is at play when we think that, we have the choice between either being authentic and being disliked by others, or trying to comply to other people's opinion and being liked by them. So why is it flawed? It's flawed because you're trying to control an opinion, and opinions change all the time. It's flawed because you'll end up saying something in the contrary because people have different opinions. It's flawed because you believe that you can actually achieve a result. You can actually make it so that others like you, and there's like this consensus about you, but there isn't. People really are not interested in you more than 10 minutes. They don't debate about you.
All right, but for that point, I have to say that where for someone who is going to be not true to themselves, right, to get other people to like them, there are people that they'll do that. They won't be authentic because their thing is like, I have to be this way. I have to be like very funny. Like, let's say if someone who is, I'm not saying everybody's like this, but if somebody's heavy set, right? If they're heavy and they feel like they have to be funny in order for people to like them because they feel that their appearance isn't going to be enough. So if someone's forcing themselves to be funny just to be liked, then they're not really being authentic. Now, but for me, and I'm not saying it's not true, but when you say how people are, they won't debate about you for more than 10 minutes. And even 10 minutes is very generous. A lot of times they won't talk about you for maybe 5 minutes, unless there's a real good, juicy scandal attached to something.
Even if you're in the newspapers, they might debate you.
Yeah, they don't give you that much thought. But the only thing that I wonder about that is that if someone is insecure and they don't have the confidence to be authentic, if explaining to them that most people aren't thinking about you that much anyway, I don't know if that if that will help them with the confidence.
Well, I'm just trying to prove that if you're choosing to,
you're trying to control something that can't be controlled. And I remember there was Dr. Phil. He was telling somebody, if you're saying that you feel so insecure about yourself, you have such a low opinion of yourself that you feel like you walk into a place, you walk into a bar or whatever, and nobody's paying you any attention, like nobody finds you interesting at all. But at the same time, you're also self-conscious because you think that everybody doesn't like your shirt, everybody doesn't like your hair. He's like, so it can't be both things. It can't be that nobody notices you at all because you're worthless and everybody's paying attention to you and criticizing you. And yet, in sometimes people's head, both of those things exist, which is crazy. He's like, he said, everybody's thinking about themselves. They're thinking about, how do I look? What does my shirt look like? And what you're saying also works is what is true. I'm just wondering that for this thing about authenticity, who do you picture as the audience, the ideal audience person that you would try to reach?
Everybody.
It's a message everybody can use, sure, but
it's just, I'm trying to make sense of what you're saying. I'm trying to understand. You're saying for someone who likes confidence,
people who are not authentic,
what are you saying?
People who are not able to be authentic, usually struggle with confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And therefore they're trying to please other people and so forth.
Right. They're seeking validation from others.
Right. So
I'm just self-confidence.
Right. So I'm suggesting that you something to consider. But if they're struggling with confidence and therefore people aren't,
let's go to the next point. I think I'm addressing that in the next point.
Okay.
But basically, I'm just that point is trying to say that logic is flawed. It's flawed because it's you cannot control it. You end up saying something in the contrary. That's a flaw. You won't get anywhere. There isn't a consensus about you. So there isn't like, what are you trying to accomplish? I mean, maybe if you're running for president, yes. In that case, there's a vote on you, and then being liked by others, yes. But in most cases, no. And So it's flawed. I'm trying to prove that. And then 4, if you want to be successful at anything, your opinion will matter more than anybody else's opinion. So if you're in that sense, it's flawed. Success depends on your definition of success. So,
and I think it's a great thing.
It's a flawed logic. Don't choose it.
To address that logic, because people will spend their whole lives, parents trying to get their kids' approval, or kids trying to get their parents' approval.
And that's cool. We are addicted to validation from others. Sorry, I keep.
But no, and social media, same thing. So all right, so let's hear the rest of the.
Let's see. I think the second one, the point that follows is, okay, even if you do it, if you do it anyways, there are chances that it might not work. People won't trust you because people sense when you're fake, when you're being fake. It shows that you're seeking approval. When you're needy and you need others to to like you. If this is, you're doing that, you're being fake for the purpose of others to like you, that you need them to approve you, that's a weakness. That means that you're not self-confident. And a profile of people might take advantage of that weakness. Narcissists who they see that, oh, okay, he wants my approval, and I'm going to ask for something in exchange. I'm going to give him his approval, the approval that he needs in order for him to to be confident. But I'm going to take something in exchange. I'm going to take advantage of that situation. So even if you're doing it, you might be screwing yourself up. That's the second point. It's okay even if you're doing it, you might because they won't trust you, because they sense that you're being fake. You're showing that you're seeking approval. That shows that you're weak, that you're not self-confident, and people might even take advantage of that by taking something in exchange for their approval.
Well, I mean, a great example, so that for some people, if they struggle with seeing, kind of seeing it for themselves and how their life and how that works, a really, really easy way to think of it is with stores, any kind of store, department stores, whatever, when they ask people to take surveys, and at the end of the you're getting your receipt and please take the survey, that customer knows that me taking this survey, your company, this branch, this location, you need me to give you a good survey. If I give you a bad one, if I give you a bad review, then you will be in trouble. You might lose business. If I go on Yelp and I say something bad, so people use the power of their opinion if they know that you're like
exactly
seeking it and needing it. If I need you to give me a good survey, I need you to give me a good review. The minute they know that they have that power, a lot of people will use it.
Trust is everything in business.
Yes, they'll use it for
customers' opinion. I mean, ask my customers their opinion.
Do you? I didn't know that you did that.
No, I didn't. But if we ask, someone with whom I probably, failed a little bit, they might give a bad opinion, and the others won't. But opinion, trust is everything. Absolutely, yeah. They leverage. They see that. People see that. Like, profile of people might see that and might take advantage of you. So even if you're faking it, you might be screwing yourself up. And then the third point I want to make is, don't do it. Your life depends on you being authentic. And then I explain why. And the why is, if you're not doing the job of being authentic, of trying to find who your authentic you is, then you won't have your own agenda for your life, but other people will have an agenda for you. So, you'll still be doing something, but it will be on somebody else's term. And, nobody other than you can do that work, that job of finding who you are, defining where you want to go.
Let me ask you a question, Rapha, then, as an example, if, I mean, whichever example you choose to share.
Your life depends on you being authentic. It can change the course of your life.
Now, because the examples that you gave was where by you being authentic, you know, some people were not happy, right?
Right.
Do you have an example of when you were not authentic, where you were trying to please somebody else, and how that did not help you any?
Yeah, that's a very good example. That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I'll think of examples, but
Well,
yeah,
I'm thinking
I have a plethora of examples.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, because I know, and
I'm the embodiment of someone who wasn't authentic for a long time.
And I'm certainly not trying to promote my book, but my book is filled with examples of me trying to be whatever I thought that person was looking for, because I didn't want to lose that person, right?
What person? Say that again.
Like for me, when I was younger, when I was dating, like if somebody said, "Oh, I like basketball," I pretended to be someone who liked basketball. If they say they like, you know, everything except sushi, and that was the one thing I couldn't pretend to like. I said, you know, then this isn't going to work. Then
it doesn't work. People see that. See that you're seeking approval. See that you're needy. See that the opposite works. I know where I stand. I know what I want. I know how to fulfill my own needs, and yeah, you know, they might that's more attractive. That's more, you know, and you're going to repulse also the people that might not like you, and that's perfectly fine. I mean,
well, being agreeable is not the same thing as being likable. A lot of people make that mistake, that just because you say, "Oh, I like that too, I like this too," that doesn't mean that other person is going to like you. They might find you boring, if anything. They certainly won't find you interesting if you are just pretending to like all these things or to be a certain kind of way. So yeah, it doesn't always work. But being authentic, there you will encounter people who are going to take issue with that.
Also, there's a problem with you know, likability, and yeah, likability is fine. It's yeah, and but there's a problem with you know, being authentic to yourself. Like when you want to hide from your mistakes, when you want to hide from validating where you are. That's also a lie to yourself. So you're not being authentic. You're not giving yourself the chances of discovering what's possible if you actually look at yourself in the mirror.
Okay, so then that is actually that's an even deeper level, where it's when you are not being authentic with yourself. Because I mean, not being authentic with other people is like, well, I want my boss to like me, or because I want that promotion, or I want this, or I want that, I don't want anybody being angry at me when I go to the family reunion. So, you know, there's all of that. But when someone won't even be honest with themselves, I mean, I remember there was a time where I was like really head over heels over somebody, and I just refused to believe that I liked that guy. I was like, it's just a bad idea. And so even to myself, or even better example, when I was in the closet, when I was somehow convincing myself that I was actually straight with no proof, there was no proof of me being interested in women anywhere at all on any level, but I was still not being authentic with myself about that, you know? And, I always found that to be so interesting, is where if you are lying to you, then the honesty comes from where? It's not like it's a conversation you have to have with somebody else. It's just all inside your own head and who you are, and becoming comfortable with that.
We are afraid of you know, sometimes looking at ourselves in the mirror.
If you admit something, then you might then it becomes, well, what are you going to do about it? So for me to admit that I was gay, it was like, once I admitted it, then I had to say, well, what am I going to do about it? And it was absolutely nothing. I went 3 years where I was just like, I'm just never going to be with another human being. From 18 to 21, that's what I told myself. I don't know why I thought that was going to last, but
Oh, you told yourself that you wouldn't say until you
No, when
turned.
I was 18 is when I was able to tell myself, admit to myself,
Right.
I'm gay. But
Crazy. Why do we waste all these years in the name of who? You
because
know,
because we all have, here's
that's sad. You know, but it's just it's a question of educating. I mean, if
No,
education could.
we all have a dream for ourselves, and we all have a dream for, let's say, parents have a dream for their kids.
Oh
Of
my gosh.
who they're going to grow up. And I was convinced that I was going to be someone who had a wife and
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And for me,
Crazy, huh?
admit this meant that I was going to have the wife and the kids. So
Crazy, but true. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of I know of people who are homosexuals, and they have a wife just for the facade.
yes,
And let me tell you that other example that Diane pointed the other day. Nelson Mandela, when he entered a plane to fly the plane, he saw that the pilot was black, and he didn't trust the pilot. And then he asked himself, hold on, why do I believe that? You know, and that's an inherited belief.
yes.
You know, so yeah.
There's, in order for us
Lie to ourselves. Well, let me tell you, we lie to ourselves, and we inherited. If we don't do the job ourselves of looking at what we tell ourselves, nobody else will do it, and nothing else. We won't be able to change. We won't be able to change for the better, because how did you feel when you started to accept, the way you were? Did you, was it a relief? Were you able to work on it to define what you want, etc.? Yes, of course.
Well, here's the thing: if someone is lying to themselves, it's there. That means that the lie gives them more hope than the truth. So when
we're afraid of something that might happen.
Afraid, sure. So, for example, if I want to have a wife and kids and so forth, and have that happy life, and then being gay meant that I was just going to be dealing with all these shady people and back alleys or whatever, because in 1994, that was what the option was in my mind. So I was willing to stick with the lie, because the lie gave me hope that I was going to find happiness. It wasn't until I realized, and I saw in the movie Philadelphia, that two men together being happy, that I realized, oh, even with this truth that that I didn't want to accept, it is possible to go through this truth to find happiness.
Yeah.
Then I was able to do it. But as long as the lie seemed better. For example, if I'm choosing to believe that my husband isn't cheating on me, why? Because if he is cheating on me, then the marriage is over, and I don't think that I'll ever find anybody else who's going to want me. I will choose to believe the lie. I'm going to pretend that he is faithful. I'm going to pretend I don't see all these signs of him.
I'm afraid that if I go through the separation, it might be a huge trauma. It might be lots of I'm going to keep my marriage intact.
Right.
But who put that belief in you? There are people who separated, and actually they were fine with it. They still love their significant other, but they didn't want to stay with them, and they were okay with it.
Like, the confidence level of well, can I be happy alone? Am I good enough to be alone? If there's somebody else going to still want me? Some people feel like I'm going to be.
That is so key. Like, give yourself that validation.
It's hard.
Cut the in French. Usually we get that validation from the parents, right? From the mother and the dad, and we might have there's also different definitions of trauma, if we lack guidelines from our parents, if we lack interest from them, which was typically my case. That is something that if we don't do the work of giving to ourselves, parenting ourselves, there's this concept of to give, that guidelines to yourself, to give what you need, to give it to yourself, to fill up your own cup. I would say Aaron Duty, a guy I'm listening to, YouTuber, and fill up your own cup. And it all starts with you.
But a lot of people, that is a very foreign concept. A lot of people, the idea that they can actually fill their own cup is not what they were raised to believe at all in their home, with their friends, with their spouses. A lot of people will find or are in situations that it just reinforces that you can't do it. Someone else has to do it. They listen to the radio, all these love songs. They go to the movies and see these love stories and whatever, that you need to have.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
And complete.
Yeah. I'm tired of these romantic movies that, you know, somebody's going to save you. Nobody's going to save you.
Well, listen, you know,
save yourself.
there is a saying here in the US, the fastest way to become a millionaire is to marry one.
Yeah.
And
but what type of life do you have? You're empty.
The fastest way to be considered good looking is to marry somebody good looking. Like, you just find it from somewhere else, external power, which it's there, but it's also not yours. It also can,
exactly. It's not yours. Your
power.
life is yours. You are entitled to your life. You are entitled to what you think.
Yeah. And you know,
nobody can steal that from you, even in prison.
I was talking to someone today, and because he was asking like what I was doing here at the winery and all this other stuff, and I said, you know, helping with the small businesses, and then he said, he's like, oh yeah, and I said, you know, small business owners, I said they have some struggle, and he's like, yeah, I know, and I said, well, what I have found is that for all of them, for their struggle is that because they are the billboard, because they have to show everyone the business is great, because if you really show on days that aren't so great, if you show that, you're afraid that then you'll lose even more people. So you always have to, it's like, so that pain, that frustration, the whatever, you know, if it is always going to be a couple steps forward and there's going to be some step backs, you know, things happen.
Exactly. I
said, but then you just can't show. And he grabbed my arm. He's like, oh my God. He's like, that is so true. He's like, because who are you going to tell? And I said, that's the thing. I said, I feel that for all of the people when they're trying to start up, is that, you know, to experience that kind of hardship, I think what makes it harder than the setback is the inability to express it freely without it, you know, hurting you, that kind of thing.
And then doing something about it, you know,
and then doing something about it.
Expressing it also allows you to maybe you know, externalize, to meditate, to you're asking yourself a question. Trust just your ability to come up with you know, ask yourself beautiful questions, and trust your ability with your ability
to, and then also
so
to make it a priority to have that support group, because that's the thing. It's like, well, then you have to find there has to be some people that you can tell, that you can express it to, and friends of yours who won't see your setbacks as you being a failure, right? Because there are people out there who they find out the setbacks, they're gonna see, I knew you weren't gonna make it. I told you shouldn't do this. Oh, this was a bad idea. Or maybe you should just give up. They're shocking, but there's a lot, how many people out there it will be like that. And then there are other people who will say, well, hey, what about this? Or why don't you try doing that? And so forth. And just making sure that, you know, you kind of have that core group around you. But it is very, very, it is tough. And I said, for some people, I think it can be very lonely. I can see why some business owners drink as much as they do. Yeah. But at the bar that I worked at, there was actually 5 owners. So they all had different responsibilities, and they would have the meetings, and they would support each other. They would also argue with each other, but it was like a group effort. Right. And they all had their own specific talents. I remember thinking that's so great, but because I think there's other bars where there's just one owner, only one person doing the entire thing. And they might love paperwork, or they might not love paperwork, or they might not like people, or they might not like whatever, and they just have a heart, you know. So it can be tough. So being authentic, it's, you know, a challenge that everyone faces. But if people find it very hard to do the internal work on their own, then the idea is find other people who are authentic as well.
Yeah,
you find it, and it's tricky, because just because I'm authentic and you're authentic doesn't mean that you and I like the same things. Doesn't even mean you and I act alike.
No,
it's just that we're both being true to who we are, and therefore you would say to me, "Well, Achilles, you want to do that?" And by all means, like my siblings, I will give them that. They drive me crazy, but in my family, Shambi wanted to be a clown. Okay, fine, whatever. Omar does exorcisms. Okay, sure. Everybody, Achilles is gonna be a bartender. Fine. Oh, Achilles is a writer now. Okay. Oh, he's a creative consultant. Okay, fine. Oh, he's doing these cartoons. Whatever we want. Because like, okay, if that's what you want to do, then go for it. We never tell somebody.
I like the idea of reaching out to others and getting authentic feedback, and choosing who you reach out to. But you could also develop a even if you're alone, you could entertain a relationship with yourself by because write down what you think. The action of writing down separates yourself from the thoughts, and then be completely authentic. Like, don't censor yourself. Write everything down. And then just by doing that, you're almost unloading a lot of emotions and you're externalizing them. And then you can reflect because it's right there. The reflection is right there on the paper. And then maybe invoking a higher self or someone who you envision in the future to become. And then giving yourself a few advice and then following through. The best thing is just not doing all of that. I mean, the worst thing is just hiding from it. Just, I have something in my head, but I'm not able to reflecting on it to give myself advice and to go from there and to move on and to have a plan of action.
And people with the hiding, it's a very attractive option, right? To just hide and like, I'm just not going to do anything. Where people, and they think if I don't do anything, then, things will just stay the same, fine. But that's not true, because when you hide, time still happens.
You're wasting time.
So when somebody turns around and they're 53 years old and they're still in the closet,
right,
they realize, oh my God, life has passed me by. And now, and now what? And if you do come out now, like the experience you're going to have, the amount of years that you might have for it has been lessened.
Exactly. And if you're 23-year-old and you think this doesn't concern you,
sure. If you're you want to be a figure skater and you're hiding that fact, you're too embarrassed to say, and you wait until you're 45 years old to decide, I'm going to. Your body, guess what, has aged and got.
Yeah, just think about take example on the winners, not on the losers. Like poets who were ultra famous when they were 18 years old. You're already 23, etc., etc. It doesn't mean that if you're 39 or 49, you're finished. No,
it doesn't. But all it means is that we're just talking math here. It's just numbers, and you just the longer you wait, you don't know how many years you have on this planet. That's the end of it. And
exactly.
With they want to write a novel, and you wait long enough, someone else is going to do that book.
Well done for writing your book. I really loved your book.
But
I don't understand. Like, people should read it. Read Raised by the Bar. It's a great book. You laugh a lot.
Well, let me tell you.
You learn a lot about relationships between the seducer and this being seduced, guys. That's two things. And third, when you finish the book, you want more. Where's the next book? So three things. Read that book for these 3 reasons. You're gonna laugh. You're going to understand a little bit more the other party. If you're the one who's being the seducer, especially.
Yes.
Read that because you understand what it feels to be a seduced person, and if your behaviors might be.
Well, when you say seduce, it's also manipulated. Like I felt I was being seduced. Like seduced sounds very romantic, but depending on the intentions of the person.
Not sure if it's manipulated when the person wants it. Like when I'm selling you my French MBA, I know that I'm going to put a lot of value in it. That I'm going to give you much more than your buck. So I'm very confident with it. It's not for everyone, but I don't see myself as a manipulator when I'm going to do it.
No. But I'm saying, romantically speaking, like if in terms of dating, and if somebody seduces me, seduces means that they won me over. They seduced me, and now we're together, right?
There's something to say about the seducing thing. It's so tiring to do everything to seduce, and that especially, you know, the seducer is a professional in not being authentic. You know, the seducer is going to try and find what the other wants to hear
They have
in order to, and that's manipulation.
yes.
In that case, yes, yeah.
Because of what their intention is. If they know that I want to get
It's
married,
a transaction. They don't want you. They just want the sex.
exactly. That was that was exactly, that's the point that I was trying to dance around. But yes, they just wanted the sex.
Oh, you dance. Your dance is great. Just read that book. Raised by the Bar.
But we were talking about people in terms of the waiting. There was a man who was a neurosurgeon. He was a customer at my bar, and he came in so upset. He was really, really upset. And I was like, "What? You know, what's going on? Whatever." And that he had, because he would do the spinal, when people had to get a spinal tap and stuff like that. He was like the person that would do it or whatever. And he thought of a way that they could do that spinal tap in a much easier way to cause a lot less pain. He had it in his head, and he kept saying, I got to get to that. I got to do that one day. I got to do that one day. He said, for 5 years. I said, when did you get this idea? And he's like, 5 years ago. I said, oh my God, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah. And he said he finally went to get the patent for his idea. And when he went to get the patent, someone else came up with the idea 3 weeks before he went in there. He had thought of this for 5 years. And when he finally went in, someone beat him out by 3 weeks because he waited. Oh, wait.
I think that
time waits for no one. Time is going to continue. The world's going to keep turning. And if you don't jump in the river to swim, you're not going to go with it. You're stuck right there.
Molière wrote an entire play on the seducer, Don Juan, right? And it doesn't end well, guys. Doesn't end well. I mean, Don Juan is someone who's he's trying to escape from police, and there isn't much of something in him. It's really a lot of suffering, a lot of emptiness. You know, just getting to that transaction. You know, just like taking drugs, guys. When you take drugs, is a transaction to some pleasure. Well, you know, look at how, you know, what's your life expectancy if you're a drug addict. And yeah, I can understand that's the last resort. It's from people who have experienced a lot of, you know, pain in their lives, and then they just do that to forget and to get into that fix.
Well,
but life is like this for everyone. You know, we all experience pain.
Yes, and some of us choose to be defined by it. Some of us choose to learn from it.
Is it? Yeah.
Not about avoiding pain. It's about the choice you make about the pain, you know? And so for next week, because you're gonna, this video, the one that you showed me, you know, when that one is done, the one on authenticity, that one, are you going to, I guess, show that to me next time? Are you going to show that to me beforehand and have a different video for next time?
So I'm supposed to have a different video now. It's about anti-fragility.
Anti-fragility?
Anti-fragility.
Where'd you get that topic from?
It's actually a book that I haven't read, but this life coach, Brooke Castillo, talks about it, and it's a great concept that we as humans, the way we are designed is to be anti-fragile, meaning that when we break, we're able to put the pieces together and to outgrow our difficulties. And that circle of seeking challenges that might break you, that might be difficult, and overcoming them make us stronger. And in that way, we are anti-fragile. So we're not escaping from the challenges. We're actually choose challenges, and sometimes challenges come or occur to us because life is a chaos and it's expected. But then we're adaptable. Our species is adaptable, and that belief that we are designed to evolve through those challenges. So in a way, we are anti-fragile. So I'm not sure, that video, how I will conceive it, but maybe, just maybe I'll conceive it in trying to make those who listen to that video change their point of view and adopt that spirit, that mindset of, you are anti-fragile. And if something happens to you that's bad, don't fall into that trap of complaining, and just try and own it and evolve and learn from it and take action. And
Okay. All right. So then, and what I'll work on then is the video, to do a video clip thing for the Delph, for the French MBA, to try to do a video.
Okay. In a minute.
On a minute, yeah. But because I told myself,
I'm a good challenge.
I'll do the challenge of that video. I was like, whatever you said was going to be the topic for the next one, I'm going to make the video cater towards that. And so what I'm going to do is the video, I'm going to have me do some French in that, because I do feel very fragile with French. I feel like I'll say 2 words and then, okay, it's done. I'm ruined. I'm shattered. The whole thing's awful. But that'll be a good challenge for me to go with the theme. I like this in the sense that, it's where we're helping. The idea is to build a brand. How do you build your brand up, right? And get that going. And people think that building a brand is just so very polished and so easy and so forth. But no matter who you are, because there's so many aspects to it, you have to be out of your comfort zone. So just like when I was doing the video with me outside, doing it outside, pretending to talk to someone when I wasn't.
Man, it's so much not fun, when you're not when you're in your comfort zone, man. Eat pizza and watch a movie. Man, after a few days, if you keep on doing that, man, are you having fun, really?
Well, it depends on a person's ability to
I love watching movies and eating pizza,
but it's like when you make a mistake, for some people, they're like, okay, they shrug it off. And other people, it makes them feel already less than what they already feel.
Right, fragile or robust. That's
right.
In that book that I haven't read.
That fragility is a big issue, and it's a hot word right now because they say that there's a fragility that people have about race and all this other stuff. And if you mention it, that they get all like whatever. So I think it's a good topic to go with, and for me with French and having to learn it, or me to do, especially for me to say anything in French for people who have been learning it, and you being, of course, a French instructor, I always shied away from places that had a different language. That's why I've only been to Australia and to Mexico, because I speak Spanish, but I've never been to like Germany, China, and any place that has a completely different language. Yeah. I've always kind of steered away from that, because that's out of my comfort zone in a way that's like, very tough. But you know what? This is what we do. This is the purpose of this authenticity thing, right? Is to just go ahead and just believe in yourself enough, right? And go from there. So my French MBA, and I'll use the lessons I learned from the last video. I'm sure new will pop up this time, and that'll be my homework for next week. And then
try rehearsing out loud without recording. Rehearse it out loud, just a bullet point. After writing them, rehearse until it flows. Inverted
Well,
flows.
I mean, and I had my hand like this because I don't have earbuds or whatever. So I was pretending like I was talking on the phone, even though there was nothing underneath. And I was walking around like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, so whatever, and trying to do it. But I didn't do it as often as I think, as many times as I should have done it. So that
that's the key.
I'm gonna take that.
Because if you don't do, it's so stupid. To be honest, it's so stupid. It's a stupid method because you do it sufficiently enough to the point that you're really confident, you're gonna kill it. Trust me, you're gonna kill it. And if you don't reach that point, you're gonna doubt yourself.
Listen.
The result is going to be, oh yeah, okay. It's a shame, right?
I can't wing it because I'm going to be doing part of it in French. And if I'm doing it in French, then I can't trust me, the rehearsals will happen. They have to happen because I'm going to be doing parts of it. And not to say I'm trying to make it sound perfect, but they need to understand what it is that I'm saying. So, I'll definitely be tagged.
And the thing is, once it will be done, that, wow, you've delivered and you were confident in all of that, most people will make it a big deal. It's not such a big deal. It's not so impressive. Honestly, just follow the damn stupid method. For some reason, we don't choose to put the best chances on our side. I don't know why. Why do we do that? Give yourself that luxury.
Well, some people do. Trump did. Trump always put the best parts on his side. He did not like the confidence at all. However people feel about him, no one's gonna disagree with that. He always felt that luck was on his side. So it is what it is. All right. So all right, and then
some people do, it's true.
I'll see the video for the fragility, hopefully, and then also the way this one finishes up. And
exactly.
I will post this one on Instagram.
Good job.
And it'll be good. Tomorrow is Monday, and so the thing is going to be a week from tomorrow. Right. Yes, it's so a week from tomorrow is the my French community party. So that video I'll post tomorrow, but I also post it again that Monday morning in case anybody happens to catch it. And stuff
Monday, 5th of July.
Yeah, and then they'll see my. I mean,
I'm 1 p.m.
Good looking as you, but my smile hopefully will catch their attention.
A virtual party for people who learn French online.
Exactly. All right,
sounds good.
You get some rest. Recuperate. A whole new week is about to begin. Well, Monday is that recuperation day, I think, from the French stuff. I know you have the other job. But...
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. And then I'll post it Instagram, put it on Facebook, all that good stuff, and we'll take it from there.
All right. Thank you. Keep it burning. Garde ta flamme intacte, quoi qu'il arrive.
Intact. Yes.
Exactement.
Yeah.
And I'll check out the new website for the
I have
by Dino.
And the emails, even if you have to schedule it ahead of time, you want to send emails about the My French Community Party on Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
They did not get those last time.
Okay. All right. Yep. All right. 2 videos finished. And I'm going to double down and put all the chances on my side this time.
Yes.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
All right. Tell Eli I said hi. Let me know if you need anything. I will probably be reaching out to you at some point to ask you a question about the French MBA as I put together the ad.
Yeah. You can use the Rise if you want to write.
Yeah, I'll go through Rise. When I come up with a script, I'll send you the script so that you can take a look at it
and take your take when you're very confident. When you don't need a paper, you know how the words sound. You're gonna kill it.
I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna have to start practicing starting tomorrow. I just have to in each day just keep going in there. By the time
it's just like repeating. You can repeat the sentence over and over again. Like 7 times over and over again, just for a couple of minutes. It takes to be okay with people not liking you. To be authentic, it takes to be okay with people not liking you.
Oh, trust me.
To be authentic, it takes to be okay with people not liking you. To be authentic, it takes to be okay with
All
people
right.
not liking you.
I am Achilles Yeldo, and this was Rapha Rodriguez as your host on Authenticity.
Exactly.
Authenticity in the city. Yes, sure.
Exactly.
All right. I'll talk
I
to
hope you liked it. Thank you so much. See you next time. Again, the first part will be business. The second part, we'll try and do something that might be of interest.
And we'll definitely push the my French community party. Yeah. All right, cool.
Garde ta flamme intacte.